Happy Thursday and happy Facebook Live time. My name is Melissa Kerman. My business is Melissa's Crafting Treehouse, and I have been a crafter and Stampin' Up! Demonstrator for over 18 years, and I love it. Thanks for being here, joining me today for Treehouse TV. I have a lot in store. I have some announcements, things going on. I'm going to be sharing a project made with a vintage look, and I'm going to be showing some variations on how to do it, so that will be very fun. And I'm also at the end going to show the products that I have in my Taste of a Sweet product shares. So I will do that at the end, and if that's something you're interested in, you can stick around till the end and watch and see lots of the fun new products that are coming in the annual catalog, which goes live soon. Hi Gail, hi Charlotte, hi Pam, yay, see people joining. Hi Judy, wonderful to see you all coming and being with me. So I do have to just say, as an aside, if I seem at all off today, anywhere during this live, it's because the pollen is killing me. It's giving me a constant headache. So hopefully I can get through this. It's really hard to focus with a headache, and I did take some Tylenol, so hopefully that'll make me feel better. Anyway, hopefully I will be good and I'll be able to focus, but I might need your help, and you guys are always so good about helping me through when I forget things, so I'm counting on you. All right, so let's get to the announcements. So last week I did a prize drawing, and the winner was Karen Berry. And I haven't heard anything from her, but if you are listening, Karen, or you are watching on the replay, make sure to message me with the technique class you're interested in. So that is the gift that you received. Was you can pick any one of my electronic technique classes that are on my Technique Classes Available Now page on my website under the Classes and Tutorials tab. So that's where you find it. So congratulations to Karen. Let's see. So that's announcement number one. Next up, my dry embossing with dies technique class is coming up at the end of the month, April 30th. That's the live online event. I still have plenty of room, of course, for the electronic class. The deadline has passed in order to get project kits in the mail. But you can still participate in either the live online event only, which is only $10, or the bundled electronic option, which also includes 2 PDFs, one for the projects and one for the techniques. So still time to sign up for that. And if you go to that same page that I mentioned under Classes and Tutorials, Classes Available Now, you will find links to sign up for any of those options. So the more the merrier. I hope you'll join in. It's going to be super fun. Loving the projects that I've made. I only share things I love, just so you know. Let's see what else. Hi Jan, hi Diana. I saw Crystal. Hi Crystal, I saw your name go by just a little while ago. I'm glad to see people joining. All right, so next up, if you are a regular customer of mine, or somebody who has requested one of the new catalogs that's coming up, the new annual catalogs, those were mailed out the end of last week and beginning of this week. So yay, it's a big endeavor for me, but excited to get those out in the mail. Now, one of the things that's in that mailing is information, of course, about my product shares. So this is the menu. So a menu is in with your catalog. This is also on the product shares page, which is now live. It was I made it go live, I think, as of yesterday. So there's also a link on there to reserve the shares, and that just happened yesterday. I'm a little bit late in the game to be doing it, but I've been talking about it. I just haven't had the reservation form out there. So just know it's there now, and there are some pictures on my website as well. I'm trying to take some more, just having a hard time fitting it all in. So anyway, more should be coming soon, as soon as I can get to it. All right, and if you have a catalog, you can look up the products that are in the shares in the catalog as well. So just so you know. And I see people are sharing, so thank you so much for sharing this live event. I don't actually have a giveaway today, but I'm so glad you're still wanting to share with your friends. You're welcome to tag people as well, so thanks you guys for doing that. So let's see what else. Okay, so one of the flyers that's in with the catalogs, if anybody's getting it, is this one right here. It's for my annual catalog 10 at 100 party. Now this is a special party that I do with the launch of the new annual catalog each year, and it's a way for people to purchase $100 in product and get Hostess rewards. Now, for those of you out there who know anything about Stampin' Up, you know that you usually have to spend $150 in merchandise to get Hostess rewards. So by getting 10 people, we get to the highest level of host rewards, and I'm able to give host rewards, $15 of Hostess rewards to each person that spends $100. So that's pretty exciting and fun. So lots of people take advantage of that. Well, I mean, some anyway. I don't know about lots, but I've had many people take advantage of it in past years because it's a great way to get host rewards. Now, there's other things that you get when you participate in this. You get to pick a free stamp set from among my retired items. You get a free stack of assorted retired designer series paper, 18 pieces of 4x6 pieces. You get some free card kits from me. And you also get 5 card samples. Now, the only catch to that is you have to pay shipping to get all of your goodies to you, and I'm trying to remember what it is. I think it's $8 flat rate. Now, and that includes your Hostess gifts. So anyway, that's a lot of goodies, plus you get Hostess rewards. How can you argue with that? So that's my 10 at 100 party. That's what it's called. I'll be announcing more of that in next week's newsletter. It will start on May 4th with the launch of the catalog and go through May 14th. So that's the ordering window. And there'll be a reservation form to sign up for that on my website. All right, let's see, what else? So on the product shares, I am doing an early bird bonus, and that is for people who purchase at least 6 or 11 shares. So there's a total of 11 shares. So you do have to get a certain minimum number of shares in order to get the perks. And those are listed on my website, either card kits, or if you purchase all of them, you get a couple of choices. So just FYI. Now, to do that, you have to make your reservation by the 25th, which is just a few days away. And you have to pay for them by April 28th. So just incentivizing you guys to take quick action. If you want those product shares, sign up, get the early bird bonus, and you'll be good to go. The last day to reserve product shares is May 2nd. And again, all that information is on my website under the product shares tab, which there is a dedicated product shares tab on my website. Okay, let's see. Let's see. Okay, that's all for the announcements. Yay! Announcements are done. Let's move on to the project. Now, the project that I've designed has what I like to call an antique look, like an antique background. And I just love this project. So I actually really wanted to redo it in a couple of different ways to show you a couple of different ways to get an antiqued background. So that's what I'm going to go ahead and do. I'm going to be using a couple of different papers and different methods. And without further ado, I'm going to face the camera down. Let's get going. All right. All right, so I'm going to show you the original project because I'm going to do some other variations, like I said, so we'll get a quick look at that to start with. There is my original project. Now what I'm going to be doing is creating this antiqued background that the butterflies are stamped on in a couple of different ways. So this one is done on vellum. I'm going to be explaining that in just a bit. And the vellum makes for a pretty interesting result. You'll see that. So I'm using Butterfly Brilliance on that, and this is of course a single stamp that I've stamped using the Stamparatus. If you've been hanging around me for a while, you've seen me use that quite a bit. And then these are the coordinating dies, the Brilliant Wings dies. These are an early release that are going to be in the new annual catalog, but you can get them now. Now I also just did a Butterfly Brilliance stamp camp with my Maker's Mojo team members. All the kits are sold out, but we are still selling the PDF. It's a 55-page PDF with 12 different projects, and it's super awesome. The information was in my newsletter and is on my website if you're interested. All right, so let's get started. So I'm going to start with a piece of vellum. This is vellum cardstock, Stampin' Up. And I've got one of my Stamparatus plates. Now one side of this has a texture to it because it's the grid and you can actually feel it. The other side is smooth, so I'm going to be using the smooth side. And I am grabbing my soft suede and early espresso ink pads. You always want to start doing this method with your lighter color. So I'm just going to apply some color to my surface. And then I'm going to add a little bit of early espresso in places here and there. Now this is a dark enough color, so I'm not worried about the colors blending, about getting soft suede on this color. The reverse I wouldn't want. I would not want the early espresso on the soft suede. I'm probably going to use those again, so I'm going to leave it open. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually just spray it with some water. And then I'm actually going to spray it with some alcohol. So here we go. And watch this, because it's just so fun to watch this happen. And it just is a very cool effect. Okay, where's my vellum? There it is. Got to have it at the ready. I like to put it on quickly. Okay, so here we go. So check out the texture on there, right? Just with water. And now I'm just going to spray it with my alcohol. Cool, huh? And then just place that down there. And it's going to grab the different colors that I have on there. And I have done this with multiple colors as well, so I'll show you that in just a bit. I had my, here it is, my paper piercing tool. Oh, look, it's lifting up. So this is the one thing about the vellum, is that it curls when you add moisture to it. So one side didn't have color on it, so I'm just dabbing it on there to get a little bit more. Okay, so it's all curled up, right? Trying to flatten it so you guys can see what it looks like. There we go. Isn't that pretty? So I'm going to set that aside to dry, and I'm going to show you one that I've actually done that's finished, and this is what happens to it. So it's a little challenging, right? So you got to flatten it out to be able to stamp on it, which is what I did when I made my original card. So you can see there's some pretty cool texture on there, and each one's going to turn out different. Let me know if you guys have tried this at all. Let's see, and I can't even tell which side is which. Here, so there's the front side. So anyway, so I'm going to set that aside. And of course, now I got ink all over my fingers, but you know, I have my baby wipes handy, so I'm just going to grab one of those. Now you can see I have a lot of residual ink on my platform here, so I'm going to use that actually on my next one. And for this next one, I'm going to be using alcohol ink paper. I don't know if you guys have ever used this. It's not something that Stampin' Up! Sells. Yeah, it looks like a tea stain. I know, I love it. It's actually, alcohol ink paper is basically a plasticized paper. It's sort of a waterproof paper. So that makes it take the ink differently. So what I'm going to do next is I'm actually going to just spray it with a little bit more alcohol. And wait a minute, I wanted to do this in two different ways. Okay, so I'm going to show you, I did this, I'm going to show you the after effect before I show you the before effect. So I really wanted to remake this card with a masculine theme. So some of you asked for masculine cards, and so that I took that on as a challenge. And so I took one of my backgrounds done with the alcohol ink paper, and I stamped it with the Rooted in Nature set. So some of the images from this half of the set, it's actually got a whole other half. It's a really big set. This set is retiring, and maybe you guys will remind me, I have a bunch of samples you made with Rooted in Nature that I wanted to show some weeks ago and I completely forgot. So I have them aside here. I'm going to try to remember to show them to you. So anyway, this was my result, and I can't say that I was crazy about it, so I wanted to try an alternative, but you can let me know what you think. So that was one, but I was going to use the back side because this is what I do. I'm going to use the back side so you're going to see that front side, and so I didn't want to do it without letting you know that that's what I was doing. Okay, so I'm going to take my alcohol again and spray my surface, and you can see it, you know, it's going to all bead up, and then I'm just going to press it down, and I'm going to use a paper towel to do that, so I'm not putting my fingers all over the front surface that I've already stamped. I did stamp it with Jet Black StazOn, my favorite rich dark ink. Oh, look at that. Now that's very strange and interesting. That's partly because there was not as much ink left on the page, but it's kind of cool, actually. I think it's kind of cool. This is one of my favorite things about playing with alcohol, is that it just does different things with the ink. It reacts in ways that are sort of unexpected. And look at that, there's like reddish in there. I think the reddish is from the soft suede. So I always have the conflict. Do I stop there because it's pretty cool, or do I add some more ink? I think I'm going to add some more ink just for fun, but I'm going to spray it with my alcohol just to kind of re-wet it a little bit. And the alcohol will the alcohol dries really fast, which is one of the other benefits to it. So it reacts with the ink and it dries fast. So there's another one. I actually really think that's cool. So everyone's going to look different. Looks like the Rorschach test. That's a funny observation. I like that. I think that's true. Okay, so there's one. And there's, of course, one potential finished product. Now, I'm going to wipe this all up and I'm going to do something different. And I am going to put my ink pads away now. So this is some of the stuff that I played with before I created my playing with rubbing alcohol technique class. This was sort of the precursor to it all, was just playing with water and spraying the ink. Spraying alcohol onto the ink. We did not do this particular thing in the class, but like I said, it sort of got all the juices flowing. All right, so here's the next thing that I'm going to do. Where are they? Okay, good. So now I'm going to use my re-inkers. These are just regular old Stampin' Up! Re-inkers. And I'm going to use 3 colors for this one. My crumb cake. And I'm going to just sort of draw lines with it. Squiggles, whatever you want to call it. And then I'm going to do the same thing with my suede, and just in and abouts, maybe not in the same spots. And then I'm going to do a few little dots here and there. And then last but not least, I'm going to do that with my early espresso. Okay, I see, Melissa, you're saying it's great the way it is. Are you talking about this piece right here that I have there? I think that ended up turning out really cool. This just like amazes me how things turn out and you don't have any idea how they're going to look, and I just love playing with ink. Okay, being sort of sparing with my espresso, but it's a really strong color, so. All right, so now I'm going to do basically the same thing. I'm going to take my spritzer with just plain water, not labeled. I have to always check it. And I'm going to spray it just to help the ink move just a little bit on there. And then I'm going to take my alcohol, and I have another piece of my alcohol ink paper, and I'm going to spray this with my alcohol. And you can definitely tell when it's with the alcohol because it reacts so much. Here we go. And then plop it down and see what we get. All right. Definitely different. And of course, it's a whole lot less blended, having done the droplets and the squiggles. So for this kind of thing, it almost becomes its own focal piece. It doesn't need to be stamped on, in my opinion. Now, again, it's one of those, do I dab some more ink on or do I leave it as is? Always such a conflict. Well, let's just do it. Let's do a little bit more kind of over in that area. and see what happens. And every time you sort of put it in there, see that cool texture that you get? Let's do it. Don't want to get too much of the dark. Okay, I'm ready to stop right there. I think that's pretty cool. This will take a little while to dry, of course, so I'm just going to set it aside. And now let's try one more thing. I'm going to go ahead and clean up my surface again. Now, you don't have to have a Stamparatus plate in order to do this. Just any piece of plastic will do. You know, it could be an old lid to something you recycled, or a window sheet, sheet protector. All right. I don't know if you guys heard that, but my phone was ringing. I don't know why. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to just use plain, regular, old, basic white cardstock, just regular Stampin' Up! Cardstock. Stampin' Up! Does not have alcohol paper, so I don't think it's illegal for me to show it because we don't sell it. It's not a competing product, but yeah, I am sort of going outside the fringes because it's just what I want to do. I want to play. Okay, so I'm going to now do the same thing. Crumb cake, doing squiggles. You can see it's very scientific, right? And some soft suede. Again, I'm going to do a few more dots this time. Now I'm going to show you one, like I said, that I did with colors, and it comes out, you know, it's really cool, actually. Almost prettier than just these neutral tones because there's more differentiation between the shapes, but it's all fun. I was trying to stay within this color scheme for this project for the obvious reasons. Okay, so again, I've got my water, and I'm going to spray it with my water, and then I'm going to spray it with my alcohol just a bit and place that down there on top. Now, this is a much more absorbent paper, so the way it shows up is completely different, right? You see the distinct and discrete shapes instead of having, instead of it sort of blending and, you know, doing all this sort of organic stuff. But it is possible to do it with regular paper. Now, this one didn't turn out quite so interesting, but let me show you what I did with some of the colors because they turned out really fun, and I did love them. So these are just a few, but you can see here, that one, let's see, I have my colors on the back. Oh, darn it. Let's just cover this up. It was crushed curry, pumpkin pie, pear pizzazz, and old olive on this one. And I really love how that turned out. I could see that just being a focal piece with a sentiment or even just some ribbon or something, just so you can see how I did the little spots, and then the lines of ink, you know, sort of ended up being lines of spots after adding the alcohol. Just super fun. And then here's another one. This one, the only thing that's not on here, that's on here, there's no old olive here, so it's just 3 colors. This is the 4 colors. So I thought that was really pretty. And then here's another one. And this is just regular Stampin' Up! Cardstock, right? So if you like the look of super organic, interesting backgrounds that are not even necessarily backgrounds, they could be little art pieces, you can make a card out of it and just have a lot of fun with playing with alcohol. Now the colors, of course, we did today, it was all about trying to create a vintage look. So now I'm going to show you a little bit of stamping that I did on some of my pieces and some of the variations I tried. And let's see. Okay, so anyway, you can see what I've done so far. That's the plain paper, that's the alcohol paper. This is alcohol paper with the ink pads, and this is with droplets and squiggles. And then, of course, I've got my vellum background right there, which is, those both turned out really pretty. So now these are actually dry, but I'm not going to work with it just because it'll be kind of a pain to show it since I have to flatten it out. But if I were doing it, if I were going to go ahead and finish it, I'd probably take it and rub it against the edge of my, my table to flatten it out. And then, as you can see on this one, I used glue dots to attach it. You can see the edges are still curling up. And I put a piece of white cardstock, which you can see if you look at the side, in behind it. And that way you can really see the pattern. See how different it is when you put it up against white. So anyway, I think it has a really cool look to it. Let's see what else. I have actually done this on watercolor paper. And I have that sample around here somewhere. Where did it go? I think I'm being so organized. Oh, here it is. I found it, yay. Okay, so, and this one is done on watercolor paper. I didn't use any alcohol on this, okay, so it just blends. And I also used one of my acrylic blocks. So I used this acrylic block with ink on it and stamped it on there. It didn't have the stamp on it. Just so you know, I was playing around with Very Versailles, that image earlier. In fact, that is on, where's that, the piece that I did? Okay, there we go. So on the back side of this one is stamped with the images from the Rooted in Nature, and then you might be able to see some of the script in there. So I used the image from Very Versailles in the background. That's this image right here. And the rest of the images are from Rooted in Nature. So just in case you were wondering. Alrighty, so stamping. So one of the things I tried, I thought maybe let's try an alternative butterfly set of images. So I tried this one, which is the floating and fluttering. This is actually retiring as well and has a coordinating set of dies. So let's look at how that looks on my design. I think it's unfortunately far inferior to the Butterfly Brilliance. That's just my feeling, but I tried it, right? Never know what you're gonna like. And let's see what else. Okay, so what I thought I would do is take one of my pieces that's dry. I did this one earlier. This is on alcohol ink paper. And I thought I would try it with the tree image from the Rooted in Nature. And let's see what that looks like. Again, the goal was to come up with something that had a masculine feel to it. So I'm going to use my jet black StazOn, do some quick stamping, and then we'll put together one of these options. You can tell me which one you like. Let's see. So I'm going to lay that out so you guys can see that one. And then there's that one, which is just the plain old organic. I'm laying them there so you can see them and decide which one you like. And there we go. Okay, so I just put that in there. So this, I have to practice with my positioning of stamps, okay? So that was from earlier. And this was also practice play. I used the In the Woods stamp set to play with that. It felt a little bit too sort of faded and pale to use, but another thing that I played with. Okay, so let's play with this positioning. So what I'm going to do here is my full inked tree, the lowest down, and then I'm not going to re-ink it. I'm just going to stamp it slightly up and to the right. And then I'm going to go up even further on the left with the idea that it's sort of fading into the background. Trying to get some dimension in there. So there's what I got. Probably could have had, you know, one of those a little bit closer. They look sort of too evenly spaced. But, you know, that's just it. Okay, so let's look at it on my card and see what we think. You guys voting out there? You guys telling me which one you like best? So there's that. There's the trees. this, which, you know, is just kind of too plain and too white for that matter. There's my leaves. Oh, you love the trees. Yay. Thank you, Megan. I'm glad. And then there's this one, which is, you know, just cool, psychedelic, wacky background. But I think it could actually be the focal piece. Now this one is wet, so I can't actually assemble it right at the moment. But keep voting and let me know what you think. I think this one is dry, so I could actually use it. And let's grab the pieces for this card, do a quick assembly so you can see how it comes together. And then I got to get to product shares and other stuff. So much to show and share. All right. So card base is 4 1/4 by 11. Of course, I'll put an inside piece on the inside. We're using the Natural Touch Designer Series paper. This is a specialty paper that actually has an impression in it. It's really cool paper. It looks like wood. I mean, in the texture, I should say. Looks like wood as well as obviously otherwise. So I'm going to put it slightly at an angle. This paper is a limited time available product that came out with the Butterfly Brilliance set. But it's going away soon. Now I've got a piece of my metallic mesh, my silver metallic mesh, and I'm going to do one quick thing to it before I attach it. And it's subtle. You probably can't even see it on the front of the card, but once I tell you what I've done, you're gonna know. So if you compare this mesh to what's on my card, you can see the difference, right? And of course, I've got the pen in my hand, giving you the major hint that that's what I'm using. So I colored my mesh using the fat side, just by, you know, using the flat edge, the flat end or whatever, to soften the silver, so it still has a shiny element to it, but it's no longer as silvery, and you can see the difference. Let's see, where's a piece of white paper that's plain on the back. I can show you that a little bit better. Yeah, it's not really plain, but okay, let's see if I can show you there. Oh yeah, that's probably better. Okay, so you can see how it's colored there and it's silver there, and it really makes a difference in kind of softening the look of it and making it blend with this very natural looking design. Okay, so there we go. Not a lot. Okay, and then I've got a piece of black cardstock. Now this is going to kind of go at an angle, but I want to kind of tack it down right in place. So I'm just going to get my position, and I've got adhesive on this already. Put that on ahead of time. You love the blobs. You mean these blobs? I love the blobs too. A woman after my own heart. A blob lover. You know, I'm being silly. It's my punchy pollen brain. Okay. That's really a lie. I'm always this way. Pollen or no pollen. I'm just a silly girl. Fun. Okay. You know what I need to do? This is moving around and it's making me a little crazy. So let's grab some adhesive. If I can get the lid off and put it right there on the front. There we go. Is that on there? Yes. Perfect. And then I can tack it down instead of it moving whenever I move my hand. Just like that. Now again, I've put my black, just like I put the Natural Touch at an angle, which you guys know I don't do very often, but it just seemed to work for this design. And then my focal piece is just going to go straight up and down on there. And I don't have any dimensionals on here. Okay, making a lot of noise using this. So now, masculine card. What do we think? Okay, so one other little detail that I have on my original card, I'm not sure it's going to work on this one, but I did want to share it, we'll see, is it almost looks like storm clouds up above, doesn't it? Kind of interesting with it being white sort of in the center, sort of draws your eye right into the center, or at least that's what it's doing to me. All right, so I actually used for this these are the champagne rhinestones, and you would never necessarily guess that they're like a pinkish, but the pinkish sort of went, I think in part because the soft suede has sort of a reddish hue in it. So what do you guys think? Do I need these rhinestones on here? I'm not sure where I will put them relative to the trees. Chime in and let me know. I think I'm just going to stew on that later. But so there's that one. It just seems so busy, those leaves. I think I like the trees better. So there's my finished cards. Yay. And I'll probably play with those rhinestones a little bit later, after I look at all your comments. Where would I put the rhinestones relative to my trees? It goes so well with the butterflies. All right, let's get to, I'll show you the Rooted in Nature samples that I have. Oh my gosh, I'm so sad this stamp set is going away because so many. I mean, look at this, guys. There's my stack. Crystal says bling, bling, bling. Another woman after my own heart. Many of you are. So I just have to figure out where to put it. Okay, so tell me where to put it, Crystal. All right, so let's just get started because I'm going to run through these quickly. So here we go with this one. This is, of course, lots of trees. I did my black ice technique on this one, but I think it's pretty cool. Here's another one. And again, that's also black ice. I got another one with black ice. You can see I like to play with that. Another variation on the theme, but just the 3 panels. Especially love those images in there. Now this one was created by somebody else. I think it was a swap, but look how cool. I mean, the blending of the color that they did, and then they masked on either side when they added that color. I think this layout is so cool, and it's going to go into my pile of things to remake my own because I think it's really cool. Another black ice. Oh my gosh, are there any that are not? So you can see when I get on sort of a theme, whether it's a layout, you see these, or particular stamps, I kind of just go crazy trying different things. Here's another one. I think this was done at a Stampin' Up! Event. This was actually inspired by something that I saw when we were at Universal Studios in Orlando. I know that sounds crazy, but very out of the box, right? It almost looks like a Buddha or something. But so anyway, there's that. Another, the layout might look sort of familiar from a few weeks back when I used my card salad, but different color scheme. And then this again, this was done with Brusho, way back when we had Brusho. And actually, no, I think it was the pigment sprinkles now that I think about it. So another one. This embossing folder is going away as well, the woodland embossing folder, which I just can't stand. I hate that. And then there's another one. You can see I had lots of creative fun with the Rooted in Nature set. All right. Hope you guys enjoyed seeing all those fun samples. Saying goodbye to the set. That's what we're doing. Saying goodbye to all these fun, wonderful products. All right, so you guys ready to see product share stuff? Oh, I'm so glad you like them, Melissa. Thanks for saying that. Stunning cards. All right, so whether you are interested in product shares or not, you're going to love to see these products. So many amazing products. So let's start. Now, I was not able to get everything, right? When we have the annual catalog pre-order as demonstrators, we can only get select things. So I'm showing you what I have, what I was able to get. So let's start with, I'm going to start with the top of my list. Beauty of the Earth. So the Beauty of the Earth product share is just 2 items, and it includes the designer series paper, which I'm going to show you. I'm so glad you love the Cards and Techniques, Gail. Thanks for letting me know. That's awesome. So this paper is really gorgeous. I guess I'll show you front and back. I love this one. Trees and that fun green painted. I love these sort of trees with the sort of, I don't even know what it's like. They look like the Blue Ridge Mountains. This one's super fun, very creative, fun paper. I love that one too. I'm a fall colors girl. And I even like this one. It's very different. Not something I would expect to like, but I do. More trees. Wood grain. I love this one. And then I also love this one. Isn't that pretty? Also, it reminds me of the Blue Ridge Mountains. And then what I did this time for these shares was I combined it with cardstock that coordinates, because Stampin' Up! Used to do that and doesn't do it anymore. So these are all the colors that coordinate with this paper. So I think it looks really pretty. So I figured that'd be a nice convenience for people. There was no ribbon or embellishments with this particular suite. And I'm showing you actually how I package it as well, so you can see that too. Okay, next up is the Pansy Petals. This one has 3 things in it. It's got the designer paper, these adorable little bee embellishments, and cardstock as well. So these are the coordinating colors. These are actually the new in colors, because this paper is all about these new in colors, and it is gorgeous. I especially love this pattern here. So the fronts are the florals and the brilliant patterns, and then the back sides are the sort of more easy, neutral, monochromatic designs. I love this one. So sweet. Reminds me of like wallpaper. So very fun. I want you to comment and let me know if you have favorites. Do you have favorite products or favorite shares? Now this one coming up is one of the biggest ones. I think it's the second biggest share because it has 5 products in it. It's the hand penned suite. So there are 5 products in it, including the cardstock, which coordinates with the designer paper. And these are from several different color groups, so it's kind of handy, of course, to have the colors that go specifically with this paper. And then we've got the Memories and More cards. It's a half a pack. I think there's 25 pieces if I'm remembering correctly. And then, now these Genial Gems I absolutely adore. I used them on 2 out of the 3 technique class projects. And anyway, they're so pretty. Look how glimmery and shimmery they are. They have little gold flecks in them. These are actually mint macaron, and that's, is it Blushing Bride? No, it's the new color. It's the papaya, I think. But they're just so pretty. I love them. And then, of course, these are the Memories and More cards and envelopes. Isn't that pretty to have that on the edge? I just love it. So fun. I think this may be on the top of my suite list of ones that I love. So I'll show you the papers now. So again, there's some more neutral, easy to use patterns, and then some more showy. I love that. Is that so pretty or what? I love it. I have to watch your comments. Love the bees. You love the bees, MJ. Great. They're adorable. Again, these papers are just, I love this one too. Oh, so soft and pretty, and in the purple. Pretty, pretty. All right, back in we go. I'm watching for comments. I want to know what your favorites are. Set that aside. Okay, so those are the ones that I have that are complete-ish. And then I have, okay, so there's a specialty designer paper share. And it has 4 papers in it. I should say before I talk about that there are 10 suites in the new annual catalog. I only have shares for 8 of them. So the first 8, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 7. No, yeah, 8. So the first 8 of them. The 2 others I decided to combine in a different way. They both have specialty papers in them. So I have put the papers from those suites in the specialty designer paper share. So Simply Elegant is one of them, and that's the one right here. And then the ombre specialty is the one here. The other 2 I was not able to get. The Expressions in Ink is absolutely sumptuous. I would have bought 10 packs of it if they'd let me on day one. It actually looks like alcohol ink with some metallic in it. It's just gorgeous. And then this is, I haven't seen that one in person, so I don't really know, but these are just beautiful papers. So let's go through these. So I'll show you the ombres first. And I'm not sure what the colors are of these, but I think the blue is my favorite. Is that just gorgeous or what? I didn't expect it to be glittery, but it's essentially glitter paper. Pretty, right? The ombre designer paper was one of the most popular items during Celebration recently. So I think ombre in general is pretty popular. Yes, Expressions in Ink Suite. That's your favorite in the new catalog. Yes, I'm right there with you. Yes, Megan, I agree. But isn't this paper pretty? I think it's so pretty, and it's nice that you get a whole sheet, so that there's I get one ombre theme. We have that glitter paper or glimmer paper that's in the catalog. It's not going away, fortunately, but there's so many colors in it, and I don't know, it's just hard to choose how to use it, but it's really pretty paper. Okay, so this is the Simply Elegant specialty paper, and lots of metallic in there, so pretty. I got the stamp set to coordinate with this too. So the fronts are the metallic and elements, and the backs are not, so those are more neutral or not metallic, I guess. And that one has copper in it. And that's the black and white. This is silver and copper. So elegant. That one. It's pretty neutral, neutral patterns to use. The smaller patterns tend to be a little easier to use on projects also. I love this back one. I know it's not showy, but it's really pretty. I love all the leaves. I'm such a leaves girl, as you guys know. I'm a girl in the trees with my leaves. Oh, I know, I'm silly. Okay, so next up is the In Color Share, and I do have all the products for the In Color Share. I'm attached with a wire, but I need to grab my ribbon. I did show the ribbon last week, of course. You guys saw it because I did that ribbon project. But anyway, this ribbon is just beautiful. And if you missed that project, go to my blog and check it out. I used all 5 ribbons on a single card. This is a beautiful ribbon. So you get a quarter of a roll, which is essentially 2.5 yards in the share. So this is the biggest of all the shares because it has 8 products in it. It has these, got to take those out so you can see them. These are the jewels, they're called. In Color Jewels. Very sparkly and pretty. I used some of them on my project last week, which was actually an afterthought. So if you watched the live, go to my website if you want to see the afterthought element, because I added some of those rhinestones, or the jewels rather. So this paper is all the colors all the same patterns that you may have seen before, because the patterns were part of the starter kit promotion, and I know I showed those, so you can see all the patterns there in each of the colors. So this is such neutral, easy paper to work with. Don't you just love these colors? I love these new In colors. So fun. And then last but not least This is the In Color Vellum. I contemplated if I should include it in the specialty share or do it as part of the In Color share, and I decided to do it in the In Color share. So it's actually shimmery. Can you see it? Shimmery vellum, and so it's slightly see-through. The back side is more like regular vellum, so you could really use both sides, you know, either side if you don't mind not using the shimmer. Some projects might not lend themselves to that as well, but check those out. Such pretty shiny colors. There we go. Pretty, pretty. And I showed these last week too, but here's the cardstock. There isn't actually any cardstock included because you can get a variety pack of the cardstock, but here are the colors against the shimmery paper so you can see them. So pretty. I like it. Ooh, says MJ. Wonderful. So that, oh, there's one other thing that I was able to get, and I was actually kicking myself because I meant to include this one in the specialty paper share, and I completely forgot. But there's this other wonderful specialty paper in the catalog. It's linen, and it actually feels like linen. It's called, yeah, I think it's just called linen. But it actually has adhesive on the back, so you can remove the backing and attach it, you know, or die cut it or whatever you want to do. But it's got adhesive on the back, so you can either remove the backing or not when you use it. And I'm sure you can't totally appreciate this in the camera, but I mean, it literally looks like linen. So it's very pretty. So if you want that, you have to get that on its own because the menu's already in place, man. The menu is set. Prefix. All right. Now, I'm going to go ahead and turn the camera around, finish up, and did I forget anything? Have I done okay? You guys, let's see. Turn me around, get me situated. See if I'm in camera. Hello, I'm back. One of these days I'll get the fancy where you know, all I have to do is flip a switch and there I am. I don't have to move the camera. But for now, I'm just going old-fashioned, so to speak. All right, so just quick recap and reminders. So I will be back next week on the 29th, so next Thursday, same time, same channel. I am going to do scrap salad next Thursday. Whether I manage to do my marathon or not, I don't know. There were several votes for doing it, and I loved that. I love that you voted for it. I just have to figure out if I can manage it. If I do it, I will keep it simple, and will not be able to do a blog post for each thing I share. So whatever I share live will be what you see, what you get. Okay, so I'm just going to leave that to be a surprise. Either that, or you know, I might send an email between now and then, let you know, or post it on Facebook. But I might just show up sometime on Monday and go like, "Hey, I got something to show." Otherwise, it'll all come on Thursday. Whatever I got. So, all right. So, quick recap on the announcements. Let's see, looking at my notes. So don't forget to sign up for the Dry Embossing with Dies technique class if you're interested in that. It's going to be a lot of fun. The live event, like I said, is only $10. So it's not a big investment. And I'd love to have you there and love your support. If you want the bundled option with the PDFs, that's an option too, and that's $30. And let's see what else. Don't forget to get retiring items before they're gone. At a certain point, it's only available while supplies last, and I know some things have run out already. So the catalog goes through May 3rd, so that's when you have until. And then, of course, make your reservations for your product shares. The sooner you do it, the better. It helps me with planning. I can only start invoicing for it on the 26th, I believe it is. I can only do that 7 days before I plan to order, and that's a Stampin' Up! Rule. So you can make your reservation now. I'll be sending the invoices after that, and then you'll need to pay for the invoice by the 3rd of May. So you have until the 3rd of May to pay. But sooner's better, then I can plan. Let's see, what else? And then stay tuned for more information about that 10 at 100 annual catalog. special offer party, or just keep that in mind if it's something that you might be interested in, getting all those fun perks and benefits and hostess rewards too. So that is what I got, and let me know if you have comments, questions, thoughts. Thank you so much for being here, for joining me today. And I think some of my headaches actually gone. I think I feel a little bit better. I did when I started. So maybe you guys are my therapy. So anyway, I will see you next Thursday, or maybe sooner if I decide to do something sooner, my marathon. And until then, thanks for being here, and we'll see you then. Bye. Have a great weekend. You're welcome, MJ.